other department. So that turned out to be a good experience for 3 years. I came into a role impacted young offenders. Then when I moved to California, I was supervising other master's level students and hospital practice, and then some teaching. The last sub-theme was having unique opportunities, and all participants discussed the unique and positive opportunities they acquired as an ethnic minority psychologist in today's society, and that being bicultural or bilingual helped them greatly. The sixth major theme was ethnic minority psychologists' professional identity and the impact of multiple factors on their professional identity was paramount. Several sub-themes emerged. I'm sorry. The first one was having multiple roles, and they all identified their role as more than just a psychologist. They believed they were educators and teachers as well, adapting to clients' needs. Almost all of them felt that they were flexible, and that was as a result of being an ethnic minority and successfully having to negotiate different aspects of themselves. Therefore, they were able to do the same with their clients. The quote by Rosa says, "We are here to try to figure out how to make things work better." So I really like that I can do that. I'm the therapist for a lot of people throughout the years, and I've had a lot of repeat clients. I like that they come back to me because I understand all the different schools of thought, and I kind of get a little bit from everywhere depending on the client. I have a little bag of tricks here and pull out whatever works. And this third sub theme was being multiculturally competent, and they felt like most of their cases were successful, and their confidence and cultural competency helped them work better with their clients. Theme 7 was working with race and ethnicity in therapy. The impact and influence of working with race and ethnicity in therapy was also very important. Several sub-themes emerged. The first one was they all felt that the only time they would bring up race and ethnicity was when it was relevant to the issue that was discussed in therapy, and also handling cultural boundaries. Many of the participants had different approaches in handling boundaries with their clients, and they felt that at times they had to step aside from the code of ethics or establish restrict boundaries. Interest in treating minority clients, I mentioned that they had a preference towards working with minority clients. Some discussed they were attracted to minority clients versus white clients. Clients and therapists' reactions to them. Some of the participants believed that their clients reacted to their ethnicity and assumed certain characteristics and stereotypes about them. Some of the participants also experienced reactions themselves, such as countertransference. For example, John said, "I think I started to understand that people have certain perceptions and they carry stereotypes, and they would come in and they would see this Asian man and they would think, oh, Asian wisdom like this, and then they'll have the connotation and the stereotype that I was smart, that I was going to have wisdom that they didn't have, or something like that." I think, for example, if I have a white client who is a serenity, this is by Kim, for example, her countertransference was, I think, for example, if I have a white client who is a sorority or fraternity, sometimes I have reaction to it. I see them as epitome of American culture, this sense of entitlement. So I have to work through that. And finally, difficult situations with white clients. Some of the participants who had moved to the United States from a different country expressed having language challenges, and also having challenges with accent that affected their work with their white clients. The last theme was considerations for psychotherapy. Most of the participants discussed factors that were important to include, such as looking beyond race and ethnicity. They found that they went beyond a client's race and ethnicity and didn't necessarily focus on it. They found that that was more important in order to help the clients resolve their problems and issues, and also importance of gender, that not only was it race and ethnicity, but they felt like gender plays an important role as well, and impact of socioeconomic status and class. they mentioned could greatly impact therapy rather than just race and ethnicity. And lastly, continued learning and growth. Almost all the participants believed that it was important to continuously grow and learn new material. They expressed the importance of growing and learning as a result of being an ethnic minority psychologist. I'm just going to read you a quote by Alan. I think it's constantly a process of growth and learning and understanding. A person learns difficult technical things related to the field of psychology. I learn about different things every day. People tell me about their lives. It's a constant growth process. Um, the discussion section is basically comparing my results to previous findings, and there were a lot of it was supported in the prior literature review, such as challenges that they experienced, the lack of support, discrimination being the only one, as well as how they saw their professional identity as being multiculturally competent, importance of including gender and language, discussing race and ethnicity in therapy, boundary differences with different clients, and having unique opportunities. Other factors in their experiences, more newer and important findings was that this study revealed the social issues and advocating for minority was very important part of their experience. And also the study revealed that continued learning and growth was very important, and the impact of SCS and class on therapy. If we take a look at the model, okay, where is the model? Okay, if we can take the page with the model. So the model has, this model is very fluid, and it highlights the simultaneous movements between the different aspects of the participants' experiences. I have 4 layers that are presented, and which includes the most inner layer is the professional perspective. The second one after that is the professional identity, followed by ethnic and racial influences, followed by the larger systemic forces. Of note, we need to be aware that this should be interpreted within the context of historical events, level of acculturation, and political changes, which is the larger systemic forces on the outside. So these layers are all interconnected, and they simultaneously overlap both within and between. The innermost layer is the psychologist's professional perspective that's characterized by their work with their clients. It includes the themes of working with race and ethnicity and considerations for psychotherapy. So, for example, when it's compromised, it's basically how to address race and ethnicity when they meant, and then only when it's relevant. How to handle cultural boundaries and your experiences with that, as well as the reactions they have to their clients, and their clients have to them. Furthermore, it includes other considerations needed to be incorporated in therapy. And the second layer is their ethnic minority psychologist's professional identity, and that's characterized by their lack of exposure to psychology and experiences, values of becoming a psychologist, and how they perceive their own professional identity. Participants commonly reported that during their career path, there were no psychology role models. Other people had other career expectations of them that was imposed on them. As well, a lot of them, as a result, didn't choose psychology as their first major in college. However, these psychologists were always passionate about helping others, and they had an overall positive attitude about self and others. They also had many experiences in diverse settings and reported having unique opportunities. And these experiences and values all influence their decision to wanting to become a psychologist. The third layer is influences on ethnic and racial identity. And these includes factors such as traveling to other places, becoming bicultural, social events in history, being aware of white privilege and power. Furthermore, participants were impacted by significant life challenges, including lack of support, being the only one experiencing discrimination, and working harder than their white colleagues in order to succeed. Some of these participants felt that they needed to advocate for other minorities by being social justice oriented and getting involved politically as well. And the fourth outermost layer is the larger systemic forces that's characterized by level of acculturation, political changes, and historical events. So these four layers are not mutually exclusive. They do overlap, they interact, and they're fluid. And they contribute to the unique experiences of ethnic minority non-white psychologists, both personally and professionally. Clinical implications. It may be beneficial to develop training programs specifically to ethnic minority non-white psychologists who work with white clients. Perhaps some of these programs can begin at the undergraduate level and to include information about awareness of discrimination, providing role models and support, inform and educate students on the benefits of being bicultural, such as being able to adapt to clients' needs better, feeling competent as a multicultural therapist. It's also important to understand that these psychologists are developing their sense of identity and facing double pressures. And resources, could be great resources for not only students, but professionals, clinicians, and researchers overall. There's limitations with any research, and there's limitations with qualitative research in terms of saturation may not have been reached due to time limitation and resources, and also my own bias had to be reduced. For example, I had to be open about seeking consultation and journaling in order to facilitate awareness of my biases. For example, a bias that I had was that I believed that my participants will candidly discuss their discomfort when working with white clients, because that was my own experience when I worked with white clients in my internships. However, my study didn't reveal those biases, so I was able to separate myself from my bias because I carried out the interviews by journaling my own thoughts and feelings. Future research. I tried to recruit as many ethnicities and racial groups as possible, but there was other ethnic groups that were not represented, and also LGBT, because all my participants were heterosexual. It would be helpful to look at ethnic minority professors and other professionals who work with clients, and also look at other geographical locations. All of my participants resided in Southern California. Combining my data, qualitative with quantitative data collection to get more information, and also racism within the greater psychology community posed an additional challenge for these participants. So looking at the racial attitudes of white clients who work with who see ethnic minority therapists, and also look at social justice issues, learning and growth further will be another area. Any questions and comments? Thank you for listening. This was exactly 28 minutes.